to separate your bar stools. That means revenue, even if you fill your restaurant when you get back, not going to be what it was. Is that a big problem for you?
Yeah, we don't know exactly what to expect yet. I mean, we have a fairly sizable footprint in Asia Pacific, as I think you know, and as we're watching those economies attempt to reopen, there's a lot of different tactics, whether it's putting screens between tables. We certainly know that we're going to be competing very differently in the future than we have in the past, at least in the near future, as we find new ways to compete and new ways to win. The fact that we're growing our away from restaurant business substantially right now, I think we could reap the benefits of that as we lose seats in the dining room and keep people safe.
Okay. Well, what are you doing? You say you're moving away from the restaurant business. What are you doing?
Oh, not moving away from the restaurant business. We are finding a new way to compete in the restaurant business, right? As soon as our dining rooms closed, basically our team members were affected immediately overnight. They lost hours, and so we had to quickly create new curbside options for our guests to safely pick up food, for our team members to be able to safely deliver it. It's a new world for us to compete in. So I think that's really what we're learning, is how to compete in today's environment, and attempting to understand what we can look forward to next as the economy tries to recover.
Are you getting help, or rather your workers in America, are they getting help from the government?
Not in the time frame that we need. We've yet to see any money from the CARES Act. We certainly are appreciative as an industry that we seem to be a priority, and government now realizes how important the jobs are that we create. As the second largest private employer in the United States, most of the people that we serve are very close or just above the poverty line. So they're the ones that are most adversely affected in an economic downturn. But we've had to do things ourselves to protect our team, creating a website that our team members in dire need can go to, where we can get aid to them. But we've yet been able to access any of the government funds. It's been a bit of a clumsy process.
Well, so I want to sum this up. Your workers are in dire straits. They haven't got help from the government yet, and I presume that some of them have been either furloughed or laid off. So they're not in great shape, are they?
No, it's what keeps me up at night, for sure. I mean, just the other night, I had a call at late on a Friday night that a single mom living in a hotel with two kids is about to be evicted from her hotel, and I'm trying to give my personal credit card information to protect that team member. We think the CARES Act and the PPP loan is a good idea. Certainly the intent of 2.5 months of payroll would help us to continue to fill that need. But in actual practice, because there's a $10 million cap, that's about 2.5 weeks of payroll for a company like us. So I think, if the Secretary Mnuchin could put some clarity and, provide clarity to the banks, I think they'll be able to execute this to the spirit of the law, as opposed to the way it's being interpreted now.
Well, Ray Blanchette, we do hope that your workers get the help that they need and deserve. It's not their fault that this all happened to you, the company, and to them. Let's hope they get that help fast. Ray Blanchette,
well, we'll
TGI
certainly take care of
the
it.
CEO.
Well. Thank you.
Yeah, good for you. Well done, sir. Great to have you on the show. We feel for you. Thank you, sir. Back to that market. Still a very nice, solid rally here. 2.5% up for the Dow Industrials. I think at the bottom of this, what's behind this rally is all this talk about going back to work, opening up the economy again. That is the main debate on the market, on the economy, and in politics these days. Opening up the economy, getting back to work. Very important, and we got a big rally right there. Next, there's this survey. It says 72% of us will not go back to a sports game until there is a vaccine for the virus. Honestly, I don't believe that. I can't believe that. but we will deal with it. And we'll ask Brian Kilmeade, what does he think about it? Sports, getting back to business. What does he think about that? We'll be back.
Or having, maybe you don't have direct deposit information that you can put online. So that is another option being talked about. The idea here, and we talked about this with the Paycheck Protection Program, is speed. And there were some problems with the rollout and people getting access to their loans, which they're starting to play catch up with now. In this situation, they want to get these checks out as quickly as they can to people. And again, 80 million are supposedly going to have the direct deposited version of this by close of business tomorrow. But with the debit card and also with the regular old checks, you have a couple of other options here. We'll be watching it over the next few weeks.
Really interesting. And I wonder how much of this market rally, as we go back to looking at the markets here, Dow at 540, Connell, is sort of getting the worst behind us as far as that earnings season. You know, that was dreaded. And now JP Morgan reporting that 70% drop in profit, but good market performance. And some of those numbers are getting out there. And as investors can digest them and get over the worst of this. And now, final thought?
Well, just real quick on that, Sandra, you've covered these things too for years. These earnings, we go in and say, oh, what did the company earn per share in the quarter? All of that seems so much less relevant now, unfortunately, because we know JP Morgan and other companies lost a ton of money. But what does their balance sheet look like? How did they come into this crisis? And the large companies in America who had strong balance sheets and provided themselves with some sort of a cushion coming in, maybe a little bit of optimism building now that those companies can find their way through this to the other side.
You think about some of the darkest days here where we saw that Dow fall below 20,000, and here we are back near 24,000 this morning. Connell, great to see you this morning. Thank you very much. See you again soon.
All right. Thanks, Sandra.
Thanks, Sandra. First responders on the front lines risking their lives every single day. And now they're getting a little help from modern technology to help keep them safe. A look at the high-tech solutions next.
Social distancing with